So the United Conservative Party AGM is this weekend in Edmonton. Sure, a lot of you have already been to AGMs before, but a lot of people haven't. Somebody I'll give some credit to, for some of the things he did. Maybe inadvertently this was the case, but was former Premier Jason Kenney. He did a lot of good things prior to becoming Premier and a few things while he was Premier, but in the end he got tossed out by the members. But the whole organization actually and movement to kick him out really engaged Albertans into party politics. They got memberships. They started attending constituency association meetings and AGMs, and they've kept going. So last year, what was it? 6,000 or 5,000. It was the largest political AGM in Canadian history in Red Deer. This year is going to be a bit smaller. It's in Edmonton. It's about 3,000 people. I imagine a lot of them are going to be there for the first time at an AGM. And one of the first things I got to point out: get out there. You can actually have fun. Look at the social aspect of it, the bonding, the good time, getting together with thousands of other conservatives for a couple of days, because that's really a large part of it. It's a movement. And I'm going to make the plug for the Western Standard Hospitality Suites. For those of you who were at the Red Deer AGM years ago, that's something else that's really evolved along. AGMs in the past used to be like affairs that had a few hundred people show up. And the hospitality suites would be groups or parties or media outlets, whatever, but they would book maybe 2 adjoining hotel rooms, have a bathtub full of beer, and offer some free drinks to people who came by. Now the AGMs have thousands. The hospitality suites are huge. The Western Standard one in Red Deer was just nuts last year. Packed with people, music, food, free booze, wasted on me, but I can drink my Diet Coke and watch other people drink. In fact, I'll be there handing out drink tickets and things this year. And what is it? I'm going to just read down here some of the stuff that Michelle put together for it from the Standard. She's calling it the Western Standard Rager. It's at the Expo Center where the convention's held. So you don't have to leave the building. Last year, there wasn't room. Had to book at a different hotel to get to the suite. Room 104. It's supposed to be the loudest, most banging room at the AGM. As it says, there's going to be bouncers at the door to check for things. I think I'm put on that duty, checking wristbands. The other thing is, and the only question, we're still marketing, we're still asking you to sell your soul. You got to provide an email address to get in. So yes, we would send you invitations to Western Standard and things like that. But once you get in, you get the music, the socializing, the food, free booze. I don't know what the limit is on it. There's got to be a limit. Everything's got it, but you'll get at least a drink or 2 out of that for sure. Photos with staff, it says. Comes with it. And yes, and sponsors for it: Crash Lawyers, Valerie Resources, and New West Public Affairs. But seriously, the rest of the time at the convention center, so the Friday, if you're getting there on the Friday, you're going to have the opening address. It's a nice quiet time if you can do it. A lot of people are working through the week, but if you can make it, there's an afternoon, I believe, address from the leader. There's going to be speeches from the people running for the executive positions. It's an important part. There's part of where you can take part as a member, choose who's going to sit in those executive spots. You make your vote there, and you get the speeches from them. I believe the voting will be on the Saturday. And I guess a few housekeeping items will happen on the Friday. I don't have their full agenda. We'll all be there with the Standard, of course. After all that, everybody hits the hospitality suites, rips it up, has a good time. Saturday morning, bleary-eyed, hungover, get together. Then you're going to go through all the policy amendments and things like that. This is where I want to talk about. Not everyone necessarily understands. The policy is important, but come into it trying to think of it pragmatically, okay? Again, I'm not a member. I won't tell you which way to vote. I'm not even listing which policies are coming up and which aren't. It'll be interesting. But are they sellable? Are they things that the caucus can take to the public that will make things better in Alberta or in general? Or are they hills to die on? Are they problems? Just try to be thoughtful as the discussion goes, and let's not let the conservative movement get divided on it. That's where the risk always comes. Policies, you win some, you lose some. Don't stomp out of the room if you don't get your way on one of them. And yes, the debate's going to be limited. They usually do it pretty quickly, 3 for, 3 against at the microphones, or I don't know what their number is going to be. And then it goes to the vote. And there's going to be a lot of push. I know a lot of people wanted independence discussion at this gathering. Hey, rest assured, I love independence discussion. It's my thing. It's my specialty. And we can discuss it on the floor with each other, but having it dominate the AGM would have been a bad idea. I don't know, Corey's running cover for Danielle Smith. No, not so much, but there's a thousand other things on the go right now. We got a health care plan that hopefully they're going to follow through with and do good stuff with. We got a memorandum of understanding, which is going to be announced tomorrow on a pipeline. I'm not too sure about that. We'll see about that. I got some promises from some members in the party. They're going to talk to me and perhaps do some interviews on that. Trent, are we just wasting time on this, or is there really something coming along? But either way, all that's happening because it's not the role of the government to really get into the independence thing. They just got to give us the mechanisms. They got to give us the referendum. Get on your case of your MLA if you see them there or other MLAs, just to make sure we get a referendum called one way or another on independence. They don't have to take a stance one way or another. Just give us the referendum. We'll take care of the rest. And they're going to be there. That's the opportunity of these AGMs too. And also remember with these policies, caucus doesn't always follow policy. They don't have to. They're actually independent members, every one of them. And then they follow a party line. And I mean, hey, if they're constantly going totally against the policies of the party, well, yeah, there's going to be problems and things will fall apart later. But people sometimes put a little too much stock into the policy deliberation of the party. I mean, it's very important, but think of it more as a general guideline for the party as opposed to actual policy things. That's one of the things that comes from evolving from an opposition party into a governing party. In opposition, it's a lot easier to come up with a whole bunch of policies that you'd like to see, and your members in the legislature aren't actually going to have to impose those. They might put private members or opposition motions and bills forward, but they won't pass. In this case, it really has to be looked at carefully. So it's a place to make your views known and where you want it to go. But you'll have more impact having a one-on-one with some of the executive members or the MLAs or some of the others there than you will almost at the policy discussion. So get around, interact, check some things out. If you're not a social type person, that's fine, don't. But, it's great to see this engagement. Like I said, even with the progressive conservatives, I think at best, when they were in government, they'd get maybe 1,000 people to an AGM. Getting 3,000 to Edmonton at the end of November. That's really something. But I just wanted to throw that out there for those who are going the first time, for those going other times, and of course, make the plug for the Western Standard Hospitality Suite. Drop in, say hi to us, yell at me for columns I've written, whatever good stuff comes to mind. And just to prep people going to it, because it's kind of the Super Bowl for political weenies. It's the big event of the year for us. Let's make it a good one. And as we said, the Western Standard Room is supposed to be the rager and the biggest banger in the place. So see you there.